everyone's favorite war-themed hat simulator, or Team Fortress 2, has a lot of cosmetic items to choose from. Over the last 9 years, class customization is spread in the areas not only for what you can obtain, but how you obtain it. If you aren't already familiar with this continuously active economic activity, it all started with the introduction of crafting with the War Update on December 17, 2009. Up until this update, weapons and cosmetic items for classes were obtained by achievement and at random, respectively. Crafting is an in-game system that allows players to create specific items for use in Team Fortress 2. Crafting is usually conducted by utilizing unwanted or duplicated items gained through the item drop system, which is just at random intervals while playing the game. The items that can be crafted include weapons, cosmetics, and materials that can be used for further crafting, such as crafting metals. Crafting metals are obtained freely. 2 drop weapons can make 1 scrap, 3 scrap make 1 reclaimed, and 3 reclaimed can make 1 refined. As of the War Update, players have not gained the ability to trade yet, and have not gained the ability to put money towards their items. Then on September 30th, 2010, Valve released the Manconomy update for the game to give it an entire microeconomy. It introduced the Manco Store and Steam Wallet microtransaction system, and it introduced in-game trading to allow players to swap items. Team Fortress 2 had a barter economy, which means that they traded based on what both sides of the trade agreed as equivalent value. The update also introduced crates, and one opened with a Manco supply crate key contained a strange weapon, cosmetic item, or a rare hat with a particle effect called an unusual. With a market for these incredibly rare unusual hats, and we're talking about hundreds of dollars on the line here, unusuals traders saw bartering a risk for item value. Notice how I used the word market back there. As the definition of market is a regular gathering of people for the purchase and sale of items, there needs to be a universally agreed value of exchange for these unusual hats. Anyway, back to the timeline. With more expensive items to trade amongst players, there was a need for a structured economic system for the Team Fortress 2 community. Players started using crafting metals as a form of tracking value. Soon players formed websites and servers specifically for monitoring the price of keys and refined metal. Earbuds, a limited promotional item with the introduction of OS X operating system support, were used as currency for selling high-tiered unusual hats with less of a hassle. Imagine how long it would take to click and drag 100 keys at a time. In traders' eyes, this made trading much easier to manage. If you are an active Team Fortress 2 trader, you may have heard about the economy crashing in the last year. More players have stocked up on crafting metal and have caused it to become a lot less valuable, and consequently has driven the refined metal prices of all items up, and most notably keys. The only thing supporting the high price of earbuds once Steam trading started was their appeal and their once common use as currency. With the introduction of other ways of trading and the addition of more limited items, their use as a currency has become completely obsolete. More people started to become aware of their ordinary properties and then switched directly to keys for currency. So these rare hats and buds are not tied to the Manco store prices, unlike keys, which are always up for purchase on the Manco store. The reason why this ticks off so many traders in the present is because their thousands of dollars worth of what they had before are quickly becoming completely worthless. Once the Steam market arrived, people could buy items for real cash. Having buds available on the Steam market encouraged a huge number of people who had no interest in trading and had buds sitting around from their original promotional to offload them.
Good idea!
Now, what counts as currency? Defining this can help us manage our items efficiently and save money. Basically, money has the characteristics of portability, durability, divisibility, and limited availability. Money can be any substance that serves as a medium of exchange, a measure of value, and a store of value. Traders have traded keys, buds, and refined metal with every one of these characteristics. They met the portability characteristic as soon as they could be bought and traded amongst players. While durability doesn't exactly apply to non-physical entities, I guess you could say that since all records of players' inventory items are kept in Steam's servers, it's pretty much durable. Keys are considered divisible when you count crafting metals. Players exchange keys for the agreed equivalent of crafting metal to trade for less expensive items. Keys also have limited availability. While players have an abundance of weapons because they get them for free just for playing the game, keys are not abundant because it costs them $2.49 for each one. Keys and crafting metals serve as a medium of exchange, which means that they are something accepted by all parties as a payment for goods and services. All players have a use for keys and crafting metals. Everybody likes keys. Also, you are better off crafting your extra drop weapons into scrap metal that you can save up for a hat, rather than be stuck with your extra drop weapons. Heck, users on Reddit have created a system for tipping others with scrap metal. A measure of value is a common denominator that can be used to express worth. For instance, a Three Musketeers bar at Rite Aid costs $1.15. I don't need to cut 15% off of my extra dollar, as US currency makes divisibility easier with coins. I give the cashier $1, 1 nickel, and 1 dime. Concerning crafting metal's measure of value, it's a bit trickier to work with multiples of 9. 9 scrap make a refined, so traders call a scrap in terms of refined metal 0.11. To buy this Madame Dixie hat from a trader for 1.66 scrap, I'll need to give him 1 refined metal plus 6 scrap or 2 reclaimed. Store of value is something with purchasing power that can be kept in reserve for later. Like how people in the real world keep their money in a savings account, many players collect keys in their backpack for later trading. Crafting metals and keys are commodity money, or money that has an alternative use as an economic good. One real-world example, in ancient China, tea leaves were compressed into bricks and could be made into tea when not needed for trade. To conclude, I think the best way to maintain the value of your items while still getting the items you want is to work with keys. It is better to save items in keys than it is to save them in reclaimed, as keys are the stable pivot of the economy. Don't keep refined metal sitting in your backpack for too long, as refined metal prices are extremely volatile, as we all recently discovered.